Panis ba't malo ka? Marunong kang mag-Tagalog, kaligaya naman ako. Ha ha ha. I don't understand that. Panis ba't malo? Somebody explain to me. Magandang hapon mga kabano, Chris here, and today is another Q&A with me where I take your questions and comments about the show, about cooking, about eating better in the Philippines, about ingredients, about any aspect of what I do, personal, professional. Let's get on to today's episode. My next comment comes from Medusa's Pubes. Apparently that's their YouTube name. Holy S. I thought it was Channing Tatum on the thumbnail for a second. Huge smiley face. And yeah, I get that all the time, you know, like when I walk down the streets, I just have literally, I can't go more than 20 meters without people running up trying to get a photo because they see my sculpted body, they see my chiseled jaw, beautiful eyes and frame, and how sexily dressed I am, and they're just like, oh, it's Channing Tatum. And I'm just kidding. That doesn't happen ever. You're actually, I think you're actually maybe the second person of all time who has said Channing Tatum for me. I get Chris Evans quite a bit, and we made a video about why Chris Evans is a vastly superior human being to me. Like, he's an A-grade Hollywood actor. I'm a D-grade Filipino YouTuber. It's like quite a big difference, but I did appreciate it, was flattered. Channing Tatum, I'm like, oh man, even for me, that's a stretch. I just find that hard to believe. But thank you, I am flattered. Good looking guy, Channing, dances well. Maybe doesn't dance as well as me. Find out next week on the Pudding Cooking, the dance-off special. I'm also just kidding. Alright, next comment comes from Siok Siok, who writes, so Chris, are McCormick spices and herbs good for cooking? Because I feel like they are processed. Firstly, I have no brand deals or attachments to McCormick, so I can speak very freely about this subject. I think they're okay. I mean, I've used their stuff before. I would say in my personal kitchen, I probably have some of their stuff because it's widely available in the Philippines. I've been to a couple of trade shows where they're exhibiting, and I think the quality's okay, but you know, it's always different buying anything mass-produced versus when you make it yourself. So I made some dried basil the other day because they grow basil on my rooftop here in Makati City, and I oven kiln dried it for like 12 hours, and then I pulverized it. Like, I actually just hit it with a stick blender because the leaves are all dry and crispy, and it's the best dried basil in my life, right? I've just never, like, you smell it and you're like, oh my god, that's what basil really smells like, compared to a store-bought where it seems to be grinded up to a finer consistency and doesn't have the same potency. But is that the underlying quality, or is that just that in their supply chain and getting it to market, it's spent longer in a jar, and maybe the effect, it's like not 3 days old dried basil, it's probably 6 months by the time it gets to you as a consumer. For me, I mean, are they adding any kind of chemical to it? I doubt it. I haven't checked or asked them, but I mean, it's a dried leaf, right? I mean, at some level, how do you screw that up? So I have no reason to believe it's not good or not bad, but I will say that if you make your own dried herbs, they definitely taste better than when you buy store-bought. It's a lot of work, but you know, if you're growing this stuff anyway, you should definitely do that. Yeah, I definitely use it in my cooking. I'm fine with it. Okay, next one. Super Ripper Flame, another handy YouTube name, writes, Panis ba't malo ka? Marunong kang mag-Tagalog, kaligaya naman ako. Ha ha ha. Okay, so let me explain this for everybody who's not part of the baguettes crowd. Panis ba't malo is like, panis is like a slang for like you're galing, and patmalo is kind of kabaliktaran word of malupet, meaning like cool. Like lupet is cool, so patmalo is the, you just flip them around. A lot of Southeast Asian languages do that, by the way. There's in Indonesia a language called Walikan, which is basically the reversal of parts of the words to make a new kind of secret language. So I have seen these kind of stuff before, these slangs. So yeah, this reads, you're so cool. Marunong, I have to assume is short for marunong. You're so cool and fluent in Tagalog. Chicken joy, ha 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 ha. That's what that sentence reads for everybody else who can't speak Manila gutter slang. Thanks for the comment. I think I'm cool too. Yeah, my kids think I'm cool also. When they grow up, they're gonna come onto all these YouTube videos like 10 years later and be like, Dad, you're cool. But malu ka, Dad. Anyway, so thanks for the comment. That's the Kaligaya na Manok video. The original viral video we'll put up here, and we can also put, if you want to learn to cook your own Kaligaya na Manok at home that tastes better than anything from a fast food store, there's a link also to that recipe, and I'll show you how to make your own fried chicken. Delicious. Alright, next we have Mskaya, who writes, after watching all your videos about eating junk, I appreciated this video even more. All the fresh ingredients, especially the sampalok, ang asim. Here in Canada, I can find all fresh vegetables that I grew up eating in the Philippines, except for calamansi, but it can be really pricey. I can eat this every week. So firstly, great. I've actually found in Australia as well, which I think has a fairly similar access to food as Canada, that we have pretty much, we can access just about all the Philippine ingredients. For us, we actually grow them in Australia. I think Canada will be importing that. In Australia, you can actually grow most of them up in the Northern Territory and far north Queensland. So when I was working with the government in Darwin on a Filipino food cooking ambassadorship, I went to the farmers markets there, and it's basically all Filipino and Vietnamese farmers who grow Asian vegetables, and they're bringing those to market in Darwin, and then obviously you can get those down in the southern states where I have typically lived. My dream actually is to take sinigang to Sydney. I think I've told a few people about my revolutionary concept for a hole-in-the-wall soup joint, you know, called sinigang. You know, nobody steal that if you're in Sydney right now, but Filipinos are like, I'm gonna do that. I mean, at least do it with me, because I sort of came up with that cool name. But yeah, I do want to bring sinigang out, and most of the ingredients are available. But things like calamansi, kamias, they're a little hard to get. We could only get them in Australia from Filipinos who had backyard trees. So they were like literally growing that in their yards of their homes, not like agricultural production. So tamaka, but at least sambalok ships very well, so you can get tamarind pretty easily, including fresh tamarind. So you can always make sinigang, right? Good luck. Send me some pictures. Love to see what you're making. Okay, Purple Tam writes, isn't carrageenan a cancer-causing ingredient or carcinogenic? It's one of the ingredients of mamacitas. So I don't know off the top of my head. We can look this one up for you, whether it's actually a carcinogenic or not. Doesn't sound great. I mean, anything I'm like, don't recognize to be a fruit or vegetable, I'm a little bit suspicious of naturally. Generally speaking, yeah, like my guide to assessing food's value is I will look at the ingredients list, and if there's a bunch of stuff and you don't know what it is, then I kind of go, maybe I shouldn't eat that. And I look for things with the shortest possible ingredient list. So like tinned tomatoes, in my view, the word should be like tomatoes, 97%. You know, water, 3%, and then they got it. Good product. If it's got like a laundry list of stuff, then I'm not saying it's like eating the Tide Pod, but you're certainly eating a lot of crap in there that you don't know what it is. I just give it a miss. All right, Millie Jean. Oh, nice segue, right? Hi Chris, what do you think of the YouTube challenge called the Tide Pod Challenge, where YouTubers eat detergent pods for views? So Millie Jean, yeah, we wanted to put this one in a video as well. I think I already wrote back to you and just said, in my view, anybody eating a known poison to get views and Insta fame, you're not only the total loser, but you're a complete moron. If I can just say that candidly as an Australian. I mean, I think this, in a way, social media and YouTube and all of this has just kind of made a lot of people do some very stupid things. And if you're getting into YouTube or you're that desperate for fame, and I sort of see what happens, it's like people see the lifestyle of the rich and the famous, they want to emulate it, and there's no way to cut through because it's so easy for everyone to start a YouTube channel now. Everybody does, so nobody can get views unless you do something way out there stupid. And it just gets more and more and more extreme because everything's already been done. And then you're getting to the point where you're engaging in criminal activity, you're engaging in really life-threatening behaviors in order to have people like you online. And I think that's a really sad thing that's happening. I think it's probably time for, certainly I think YouTube itself, to look into this issue of reckless behavior for views. It's pleasing that they actually took the videos down because I really think it's stupid, and it's actually very unsafe because the kids doing it are mostly teenagers and they're dumb enough, but what you really got to be worried about is an 8-year-old following in this behavior, because they're all watching YouTube as well, and they going and eating an 8-year-old kid eating a Tide Pod is probably going to be a fatal accident. So there's a lot of stupidity out there. I think it's time actually for some campaigns amongst YouTube where they really crack down on stupid, reckless behavior. The other thing that's been happening has been people trying to get ridiculous selfies from the top of buildings. And I read just a month or two ago, Insta fame guy in China, I think, fell off a very, very, very tall building and died because he was basically trying to get this money shot that will get him likes and followers. And he actually died. And it's like, I don't understand it. And look, my channel doesn't have 1 million followers, maybe because I don't do really stupid things. We just play an honest game. We engage with our fans with what they want to hear. We have a topic that we're passionate about, and I just don't feel I need to do anything crazy. So I'm a little sad. I think it's time that some action's taken actually by the platform. That's my view on that. I think it's a bit desperate. I think it's a bit needy. I think it's a bit sad. So the next comment comes from Dal Letran, who I actually know in person, you know, in my offline life. So she asked me if I could make some for her husband, Matt. So darling, if you're watching, regards from me to you and Matt. Hope you're well. And it takes a long time to bake bread if you do it all yourself, no mechanization whatsoever. And a few of you have seen the bread I'm now making on YouTube because I'm sick of factory bread in the Philippines. So I'm like, all right, I already make yogurt, I already cook all my own food, time to start baking. So now I literally make everything, so it's good quality. So I was doing the bread, and what I'm doing is I go to Costco in Australia and I buy all of the seeds, because you can get these big bulk packs, and in the Philippines that's going to be like you have to sell your car to buy a packet of seeds, right, at one of the health food stores here. It's such a rip-off. So we just throw it all in a bag, buy a box. You buy the big 2-kilo packs of like chia seeds, quinoa, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. And I get like about 7 types of grain and seed. I mix them all together, and then I use a baking flour, just a regular instant yeast, and I knead the dough from hand, and I let it rise, I knock it back, let it rise again, I bake it. It's a real labor of love, but the bread is amazing. Like, it's like, oh my god, this like bread can have this much flavor. So when you've got that combination of seasoned grains in there, it's delicious, it's healthy. And you know, with like the factory bread, hindi nakakabusog yun. Like, you eat a sandwich and you're still hungry. You have to eat about 6 sandwiches. Like, for me, I have to eat 12 pieces. And even you know it, because you can like push it down and it just like compacts. Parang walang substance. When you make your own bread, it's like legit solid. 2 slices for a sandwich, guide small slices, you are full. It's really sustaining, very good for you. So try baking at home. If you guys are interested in me teaching you my baking recipes here in the Philippines for home baking, quick and easy bread making, just leave a comment and I'll make a video about it for you. No problem. Thanks, Darlene. Hope you're well. Alright, so I'm gonna leave it there this week. Pagod na pagod ako kasi marami akong nag-shooting today. But been great having you guys along for the ride in today's Q&A vlog. Leave comments, questions that you have. Remember to use that hashtag AskChris, and I will know that you really want your question answered and try and feature it in one of the upcoming vlogs. So bye now, mga kabano. Been great having you. See you next week. Bye now.